As we sit here tonight welcoming Shabbat, I hope that we can begin to feel the blessings that we enjoy, and we get to enjoy even more blessings, both in the message we're about to hear and our messenger. Our speaker this evening, Robert Glassman, is, among other things, a renowned personal injury attorney who has won more high-profile cases than you're going to want me to name here tonight, and who earned distinction as the 2023 California Attorney of the Year. An esteemed leader of the Los Angeles legal community, serving the executive committee of the Los Angeles County Bar Association Judicial Appointments Committee. For those of you who don't know what that is, I didn't, they evaluate individuals under consideration for the Superior Court. In addition, he also serves on the American Board of Trial Advocates. He's also the founder of the Glassman Leaders Program, which takes a junior and senior from his high school alma mater, the Whitfield School in St. Louis, Missouri, to an 8-week course to develop their public speaking skills. An alum of Bucknell University in Lewisburg, Pennsylvania, and Southwestern Law School here in Los Angeles, a devoted father to Ella, Zoe, and Zachary, a loving husband to Layla, and last but certainly not least, a dedicated board member of the Stephen Wise Temple community since 2017. Truly a gift both to Los Angeles and Stephen Wise Temple. Will receive even more gifts from you tonight as you share with us your message of perspective, hope, and resilience. So I am privileged to welcome Robert Glassman.
Thank you, Rabbi. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
We are going to start things off with a video here.
We're now following actually some breaking news in the Pacific Palisades area. There's a brush fire. Right now it looks like the LA Fire Department is telling us it's about 2 acres. Here's the rough location of it. It's 1190 North Piedra Morada Drive.
This fire is spreading to homes, to apartment buildings, perhaps to Palisades High School as well, to the stands and the brush around Palisades High School. So it's moving quickly, and it is quite ominous.
It strikes me that when people return home, they are going to be grateful if they do have a home to return to, but many of these communities will never look or feel the same.
After the fires on January 7th, about 6 months ago, I was feeling pretty sorry for myself. My family and I had just lost our entire home and every single thing inside of it. Every picture that our kids drew for us, every note that they wrote for us was gone. I was at work that morning and did not have time to go back to get anything. All I had was my suit and my briefcase. My wife went around and picked up the kids from their schools, went back home, threw some diapers in a bag, and left immediately after the city ordered that we evacuate immediately. Those next several weeks were pretty dark. And as I think back on it, probably the darkest time in my life. And there was a lot of uncertainty. Obviously, the uncertainty of where we were going to live, where our kids were going to go to school, but also the uncertainty about my work, my job, my career, whether I would be able to keep performing at a high level for my law firm, my clients, and keep providing for my family. But then I returned to work. My kids were back in school, and they had a little stability. We were still living in a hotel at the time, but it was okay. We were getting back to some normalcy and had some stability too. And I thought it would be good, it would be healthy for me to get back to work, get back into a routine, and get back to some pre-fire normalcy myself. And I had a trial starting at the end of February. I was representing a woman who was badly injured after getting hit by a bus. And unfortunately, my client had suffered a pretty debilitating brain injury. And she was now living in a skilled nursing facility in downtown LA. And I thought it would be a good idea for me to go visit her, spend some time with her, get a good sense of what her current condition was since the trial was right around the corner. So I remember driving downtown one rainy morning in February to go meet her. I remember parking outside of the facility. I ran inside, and her daughter was there waiting for me in the lobby. And I remember a nurse came and escorted us to the room where my client was sitting at a table. And I remember on my way to that conference room, I remember seeing a lot of sick-looking people. People who looked like they had nowhere else to go and no one else to help take care of them. A lot of people in wheelchairs with blank stares on their faces. And I remember finally sitting down with my client at this table, and it became immediately obvious to me that she was suffering from traumatically induced dementia. She wasn't really making a lot of sense when I talked to her. She was confused. She appeared weak. She certainly wasn't the same woman I remember reading about before she was injured and seeing in pictures before she got hurt. And after a few hours, I remember leaving and driving back to my office. And on the way back to the office, I started thinking about how helpless all those people were in that facility. And I started to think about my own problems and my own sadness about what my family and I were going through. I called my dad in the car, and I told him that seeing my client like that put my own problems into perspective. Now, obviously, this is something that I had thought about before, but this was an important reminder at such a critical moment in my life about the power of perspective. Seeing those people going through a lot more than I was going through, seeing those people suffering a lot more than I was suffering, gave me the perspective I needed to overcome my own set of tragic circumstances in my own life. And it was like in that moment, someone had flipped a switch for me and made me remember that it could be a lot worse. And as I think back, as I was getting ready for tonight, and I think back on the last year and 9 months since October 7th, and thinking about what our people and the Jewish people have had to go through, both here in Israel and around the world, thinking about what just happened in Texas to all those families, it could be a lot worse. And that is why the power of perspective is so essential to building resilience and coming out of a situation like what my family and I were going through even stronger than before. And that's exactly how I want my children, two of the three are here tonight, that is exactly how I want them to come out of this situation. Tougher, more resilient, being able to overcome adversity. and weather the inevitable storms of our future. And as it turns out, not everything was lost in our house.
Hi there, Garrett. I'm here in the Pacific Palisades neighborhood, which was absolutely destroyed. As we pulled up this morning, we ran into a couple who was seeing their home for the very first time. The only thing left standing was the foundation. And although the home was a total loss, the couple was able to recover something from the ashes. Layla and Robert Glassman bought a house in the Pacific Palisades 8 years ago. They never thought one day the home they built with their 3 kids would one day be nothing but ash and rubble. The couple searched the rubble to find something, anything that could be salvaged. Little did they know they would find their diamond in the rough. The pair located a safe, burned and busted open by the intense heat. Nothing inside survived, except Layla's diamond wedding ring. We were there the moment they pulled it from the rubble.
When I saw that, it was just pure joy. It was pure joy. I thought I was never going to see it again. It's just pure joy. I'm so happy. I'm not taking it off my finger.
The couple says they believe it's a sign of hope amid the devastation, and a sign that triumph and beauty can come from tragedy.
After I saw that, I actually asked her why was it off her finger at the time. But the thing is, I never would have been reminded about the power of perspective if I hadn't leaned in to my work, and if I hadn't gone down to visit my client at that facility on that rainy morning in February earlier this year. Nobody told me to do that. I didn't have to do that, but I leaned into my work. I leaned into her case. And it could not have come at a better time in my life. Gaining that perspective by sitting there with my client at that table in that facility, together with the outpouring of love and support my family and I got from everyone, including everyone at this congregation, including having a partner by my side like my wife, Layla, I would not have been able to get past this incredibly dark and tough time in my life. And for that, I am forever grateful for the work that I do, and I am committed to always leaning into it. And I encourage all of you to lean into the things that you love to do too, because it might just save you like it did for me. Shabbat Shalom. Thank you very much.